All right, it is August 18th, 8:40 a.m. Good morning. Let's look at what happened yesterday. Today's going to be a little shorter than yesterday. I explained a lot more in detail yesterday, but today we'll get right into it. Let's look at the SPX Daily Chart. All right, so what happened yesterday? Obviously, we had the minutes. I felt like that was going to be pretty much a non-event, which it was. Caused some volatility, but really not much changed. Kind of had a doji candle, right? So not much change there in my view of what's going on, but it did in a little bit, and I'll show you what I mean by that. A little granular about value. I'm going to explain in a little bit. Let's look at the NDX. NDX did catch support at the 9 EMA daily. Right here, you could see it nipped it. All right. There's a important level I'm going to talk about in a little bit. And so basically caught support here. Tech was a little weaker yesterday. TNX was up yesterday. TNX is down today. So we can look at that very quickly. To look at the 10-year. 10-year. What are we looking at? It's down 0.5445%. It's not much. 2.88. Keep an eye on that. And one thing I noticed, I just want to bring about some other indexes here that are interesting. The Dow, which is comprised of 30 stocks, has actually eclipsed the 61.8 retracement. So stronger than the Nasdaq and the S&P. Very interesting. The largest weight though is United Healthcare in the Dow, which is no surprise. Also, Goldman Sachs financials caught a bid lately, and Home Depot also caught a bid lately, and then Microsoft. So you can see how those stocks, when they're strong, what the Dow is going to do, right? So I mean, if you look at United Healthcare, kind of, I wouldn't call it an apple, but look at that chart. Hence the Dow's, that's the Dow's largest holding. So, and then one more, the Russell, just real quickly. Russell is not caught the 50% retracement line. And actually, I'll show you this later in my other chart, but it's actually at the most traded price of the year. So let me get my Epic pen out here real quick, just to point that out. So actually, if you look, that's why I use profile. This is even on TOS, I use profile. So that's the most traded price of the year. Of the last year, I'm sorry, the last year. And you can see why, right? But this tells me right away off this, but you can see why. Look at all that congestion here in the past. So this is going to slow down the Russell. It's going to really slow it down. I mean, we could probably just do this or do this. You know, it's going to take a lot to go like that, but we'll see. Just wanted to point that out. Now we can move on to the futures. So let's do that. All right, so what do we have going on here? Okay, like yesterday, I was telling everybody that I didn't think much was going to happen from the minutes. It really didn't. Just had some volatility. So what do I see? I see we're pretty much in balance, right? The good old trusty value I always talk about. Value high, value low, current price right here. Okay. Now that we're in value for the last 5 days, okay, that's meaning we're just building a foundation here. See all these lows here, right? We're building foundation, so that's, you know, we're buying dips here, okay, until we don't. All right, but one thing I wanted to note, okay, one thing I wanted to note that's very important is day by day value, okay? So I'm not saying I'm bearish, but what I would say is we hit the 200-day moving average in the S&P, which is a pivotal point, right? And we're kind of holding prices, but I just want to show you now. When I show you this chart, this is overnight. Just to point it out really quickly, this is yesterday's session, and this is the overnight. All right, that's why I love looking at the market profile, because I can see what we're doing overnight and what we did yesterday and in one session, right? But most people look at the SPY or something like that. You don't see this on a chart. You just don't see it. You'll just see what we did during from 9:30 to 4. So I have that too on market profile. So what I look at here, and I'm just want to show this is important too. Okay, I always talk about the 5 days of value. I always talk about that, which you can always see highlighted in the light blue. Okay, but this is the RTH now. This is only not what's happened overnight. This is what's what happened every day. So this is just like looking at a SPY chart. Obviously, it's market profile. But what I want to show is this, okay, which is micro in a value sense, but it is important. So if you look at value day to day, okay, value was here yesterday. Okay, I'm sorry, that was value on Tuesday here. So value was here for that session. That was value. That was 70% of the trade happened in between that area. Okay, well, yesterday, pretty important, right? We were able to move value down lower. So the 5-day was here. Now we'll move a little lower, okay, because of this. So 70% of trade happened actually not even in value of yesterday. It moved value lower, all the way lower, which is a little win for the bears, okay? So 70% of the trade now moved lower. So that's a micro win for the bears. You continually move value lower. Let's say today, we can move it down again. That's, if you keep doing that, you're finding acceptance lower and lower. Okay, I'm not calling for a sell-off. I'm just saying that's how you want to look at value each day. Okay, so that's a little win for the bears. Okay, it's a micro win. Just wanted to point that out. We can also look at the Nasdaq. Okay, let's look at the Nasdaq. So this is the Nasdaq. All hours over, like real time trading, yesterday's and then overnight. Okay, value happened too. Okay, so most traded price is right here. Okay, now let's go to the RTH only, what you would see in the Qs, and let's see what value did. So here's Tuesday's value. Now here's yesterday's value. Brought it down. Didn't even overlap. Brought it down, right? So a little win for the bears. A little win. Okay. Now, what I want to point out is I don't show this chart a lot because I like to show you guys what is happening overnight. But the key level here, okay, is this 13,300. That's the most traded price of the month in the RTH session. So that's kind of like the line in the sand, the bear bull line here. Okay, you go below that, that's significant. Stay above it, then we could possibly just balance here, and we could possibly go higher. Okay, just keep that in mind. That's how I look at all these levels. These are walls, right? I talked about this yesterday. Walls. Price just doesn't slice through those. So we'll see. I'm just giving you my layout, okay? So I wanted to show you that because I don't see much right now in what's happening in the overnight to set up the day. Okay, back to the ES just to see what we're doing. Okay, this is how we look at the market. Okay, so most traded price is here, and that's 42.76. Current price is here. So whenever that we're inside yesterday's session, okay, whereby the most traded price of the week, I'm expecting balance. I'm not expecting much today. Inside yesterday, around the value of the week, I would say that this day is going to be an inside out day. What meaning by this? If we come up to the highs of yesterday, I expect sellers to come in. If we come down to the lows of yesterday, I expect buyers to come in. That's what I'm expecting today. It doesn't mean it has to happen. It just means that usually is what happens. We're just balancing, okay? Nothing to really see here. Okay, so let's look at the Nasdaq. Same thing, right? So let's look at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq's a little different. The most traded price is higher, okay? So most traded price of the week is up here. Now, let's see if we can pull this value down lower, like the ES did. If we can, that's another win for the bears, right? We're moving value lower, so we'll see. But again, here's yesterday's session, high low. We're right in the middle of yesterday's session, right here. And just to show you guys, even though I said the most traded price is up here, the most traded price, this hot pink box is the most traded price of yesterday. And price is right here. So we're in balance. Nothing to see. Like I said, come up here, sellers can come in. Come down here, buyers can come in. All right. So that's what I'm seeing there. There is some key levels though I'm looking at though. There are some key levels I'm looking at, which can be pivotal for today. And one of them is actually right here. And in market profile terms, that's what these are. These are market profiles. These are weak lows right here. The lows are pretty much equal, considered weak. Buyers are present there, and it's been bought once and twice. So if we come down here again, we could penetrate it and come into this demand zone, and we could bounce out. So this is a key level, but I'm going to go into that into the 60 minutes futures chart, which I'm going to show. So let me show you guys that. Just give me 1 second. Alright, that's just crude. Crude's catching a bid today. Alright, let's zoom in a little bit here. Alrighty. So there's two levels, one in the ES and one in the NQ that's very important for today. Okay. And if we hit it, and can cause, I wouldn't say total sell-off, but it's important level, right? So we'll just point out some things. We have overhead supply here with supply zones. We have a nice demand zone that started here, just to let you know, it was plotted to start here, and it's got bought and bought every time it comes in here. Okay. And just how the demand zones work, the more times you come in, the more times you come in, the more times you come in, it gets weaker and weaker. Alright, so eventually, if the bears are starting to win and we come back in here, this could get broken. I'm not saying that happens, I'm just saying that's how it works. It can't keep holding up forever, but right now it has. So let's look at some key levels today. Okay, so this has a double bottom right here. Okay, came down here, found buyers, came down here, found buyers, went up, came down here, found buyers, found buyers. Okay, so this level is 42.58 in the futures. So I have to see if this breaks. It isn't in demand zone, but if this breaks, we should get a move to here, 42.49. Another key level. And if that breaks, we're breaking out of the demand zone. And then this is a channel. This is an uptrend line here that we could catch a bid on, or we could fall into this demand zone. I'm not saying it happens, just saying that if these levels break, that is possibly what could happen. Okay. Now we do have we have a pattern setting up as well that I want to point out, a descending triangle pattern. So you see this trend line, this downtrend line coming down here, okay? And this line is support. So if we do one of these, filling up the triangle, and we come down again, we could break. Not saying it happens, just look, pointing it out, right? So that's kind of what I'm seeing in the ES. So let's go to the Nasdaq. All right, as for the Nasdaq, okay, the big level here is 13410. Same situation. Came in, found buyers. Came in, found buyers, came in, found buyers. This is a nice little line in the sand. Okay, have a demand zone beneath. Also the same story here. We have this downtrend line. Now it got broken but found resistance. Now we're under it. Okay, same scenario, same pattern, right? You got that downtrend line and you have the support line. We can come down and fill this triangle up. It could possibly move lower. But just keep in mind, there's a demand zone. It's fresh, never been touched yet. So we could come in here and just pop. But just giving you scenarios, right? So that's kind of what I'm seeing. I'm not expecting much, so just remember I'm saying that. So we're not expecting much. And I could quickly show you, let's look at some relative volume for today, just to let's see what we're looking at here. Crude's about to open, and what are we at? Crude's about into the middle of a rollover, so the volume gets a little funky when you're rolling over. I just recently had to roll over my charts to the next contract, so looking at crude 69%. Let's see, the Nasdaq's 93%, not bad. And let's look at ES, 81%. So not horrible, not super strong. Actually, the ranges are pretty decent in the overnight. Okay. Let's move on to the zoomed in market profile where I like to give my scenarios for the day. Let's look at that. All right, so I'm going to make these a little bigger here so we can see certain levels here. Okay. Let's get my trusty marker here. All right, so our price is right here. And that's about 42.81. Okay. I mentioned we're in yesterday's range. Okay. We're also at the most traded price, 42.76. So value high, value area low for the week. All right. So what I see today, I'm gonna make this very simple today. I'm looking at burn balance. I don't glean much from it. Okay. I don't even have a ton of scenarios today, to be honest with you. So, but I will give you that bear scenario because I have to, right? Because it's a scenario that could happen, like I said. So I would think that we can come down. This level is going to be tough to break, but if we break it, we can come down here. And then this key level here is the line in the sand, which we could break. You know, we might go a little lower here. I don't think this is likely, but it could happen. Okay, that's just one thing that could happen. The bull scenario, I think that's less likely. We could open here and come down here. Can't break this level, come up. think we would get some resistance here, and I don't see us going higher. So I would say we probably would come back and probably balance. Okay. And now the last one that I really see that's really realistic. Okay, I see this. Boom. This is really what I believe will happen. Come down. We're going to find buyers. We're going to come back to balance. I don't even have to draw where we're going to go. I think if we go to the highs, there's supply up here. Means sellers are present. I think we come down back down to balance. That's really what I see today. Okay, we can look at the Nasdaq. We do have this key level that I spoke about, which is right here. I'm sorry, that's a bad. This line right here, that's the weak lows that I talked about. So if we do break that, that's significant. Okay, but we have to break it and hold it. So we can come in here, chop, come up, come down, play a little bit on here, and this is the bear scenario. We come down, come back up, we can't move above it, we're going lower. Don't know how much lower because there's the demand zone right here, but that could be in play. Okay, it's a little better of a level in the Nasdaq. All right, bull case, we could come down here, come up here, and we could actually come up here and bounce because that's the most traded price. Right, that's what I see. Okay, otherwise the last scenario is the same one I said. Come down here, come up here, can't get above here, and we come back down. Or come down here, find, can't break this level, and we come up and we balance. That's what I'm the most confident at. That's going to happen today. So my confidence level is you're going to trade from the outside in. Anytime we go out, up, you're going to want to fade the move higher. Go lower, you're going to fade the move lower and go long. That's what I'm seeing. Okay. Quick reference here. What I wanted to show with that Q's level, because if anybody's interested in the Q's, which I'm sure they are, that the QQQ level that I talk about in the Nasdaq, and you can see that right here. I'm going to point it out. Give me one sec. Right here. So that level is 326.85. That's that level in the futures that I pointed out. 326.85. And you can kind of see that here. This is a kind of how I look at Antos market profile. I'm sorry, volume profile. So that's not really what's important. I just wanted to show you in the Qs right there. That's that level. So if it gets broken, we could see 323 maybe. Just wanted to point that out. So unless anybody wanted to know that level in the Qs, that's that level. All right. Anybody has any questions, please leave a comment. Give me a like. Subscribe. I'm looking for more subscribers. Hopefully this information is helping people out. How to read the market, not to be fooled into watching price action. Okay, that's where the market profile, the volume stuff really grounds me in looking at the market, right? So, I be wrong today? What I really think is going to happen, I could be. But probabilities are on the fact that I see balance and I only see trading from the outside in, right? So, that's it for today. Wish everybody good luck in trading, and I'm about to trade crude, so have a good day, everybody.